All right, everyone. Welcome to our March meeting. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and again, enjoying the green and a lot of the videos that I see of you. We are going to start today's meeting talking about our adoption of AI here at Fiduciary Alliance. I know we've been talking a lot about it. We talked about it on the last call. I shared with you Notebook LM and just how you can really use that to create some very meaningful, relevant, directed content for your clients or prospects or whatever you're going for. And there's some really cool things you can do there with creating like a podcast or creating a video or things like that. So really, really excellent tool. Just curious, has anyone been using that tool at all here over the past month to create any content? Well, all right. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I think it's really important that we talk about what, as Fiduciary Alliance as a group, like our adoption here. And I really want to speak to it from just kind of our place here at FA and what we're focused on and what we're really looking for here in terms of tools and things like that are out there. We know that AI is changing every industry right now. Financial services is no exception. It's really changing our industry a lot. And there's new things that are coming out each and every day. I would go further and say there's things coming out each and every hour. It's impossible to track them all. I get messages even from y'all like, hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen that? Hey, check out this new tool. Check out this thing. The reality is it's the Wild West right now, and there's so much attention and everyone's trying to jump in. And let's be honest, this is how the software kind of thing works is let's try to get something in, let's try to create a lot of noise around it and get something to come in and buy us out, right? And so a lot of times there'll be some very shiny tools that appear and you'll start integrating it and it'll become a big part of your practice and maybe they sell it to someone else. And then, a year or two later, that firm has decided to make it in-house and, or do something with it. So, some of these tools will disappear. Others will stay the long run and transform how we work. I said this on the last call, and I'll say it again because I know there's a lot of anxiety. I was just at the Black Diamond forum last week and talking with a lot of their folks there. They were sharing, quite honestly, about how even they are very anxious about how the rate and how things are changing, and they're on the cutting edge. They're on the front edge of this. So it's very easy to start thinking or getting a little anxious. But even as we talked to it last week, and I said last month on the call, I am 1000% believe that what AI is going to do for us as financial advisors, it's going to make us 1,000 times more productive, exponentially more productive than we are today. It's going to help gap a lot of the bottlenecks and a lot of the things that maybe we're struggling with now. It's not able to do it right now today, but I really believe I can see the pathway there, and it's just going to make us so much more productive. We're going to be able to do a lot more than we can today, and I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. But the reality is there's so much noise right now. It's at an all-time high. So there's just things that are constantly coming out. Well, here's our approach that we're going to take to this. We're not going to chase every shiny object. We're going to stay informed. I spent a lot of time personally reading, studying up, evaluating tools, looking at things. I know a lot of you do as well. But we as a firm, and when I say firm, meaning like our platform, we're only going to adopt tools that are built to last, and they can prove to us without a shadow of a doubt that they will be secure with client information. All right. And every tool that we adopt in the platform must serve your growth, period. Like we're not going to just, there's a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this, and I know some of you have in some of our conversations, is we'll see something shiny and we start chasing it. And man, this is so cool. And this is really neat. And then, we get into it and realize, well, this isn't really helping me, or maybe this is just kind of, this looks great. But we are going to ensure that whatever tool we adopt is going to serve your growth. And we're going to move with intention. We're not just going to jump on something because, there's a lot of noise or everybody's on it. So again, every tool that we adopt must demonstrate growth. Our client data is sacred, and we're never going to adopt tools that could compromise that. If you think about this, if we have a data breach or we have something that comes in and we have to go to clients and say, hey, by the way, one of the tools that we've used has had a data breach or data security thing, and your information's now there. Who wants to take a guess what that's like to recover from, right? Yeah, it's not fun, is it? So we're going to make sure that anything that we do or anything that we use is going to be absolutely compliant. And not only that, it's going to be here for the long run. We don't want to jump into something and then 6 months later, it's doing something else. Okay. So data is safe. That's SEC FINRA, that's encryption, that's, the vendor's going to be around for a while. All of these things we use when we do our vendor analysis and reviews and things like that to make sure that that's there. So let's talk a little bit about where the areas that we're looking at to kind of help you grow your practice. First and foremost is client communication, right? I know a lot of you are, you're probably using something to help draft some emails or do some things like that. Maybe you're on ChatGPT, maybe you're doing some things there. One of the things that I want to say, we're probably not even beta testing. We're still really early in testing this, is we are looking at an AI-driven CRM right now. Salesforce is not going away. We're going to be in it for a while. It's not like we're going to be replacing Salesforce tomorrow. We know how important the CRM is to folks, but we are evaluating an AI-driven CRM, because if you think about it, we want to spend most of our time in our CRM, right? I mean, that's where all of our client data is. And if we can do it in a way that we're interacting with an AI that has all that data, and instead of like, well, where do I click here? I got to go click here and click there, and then come over here and click this and click that and do this and do that. We just go, hey, I'm meeting with the Johnsons tomorrow. I need this and that and that. Go ahead and prepare this. What's the last thing I said? Bam, and then it gives us what we need. So Jordan Roberts here at Parallel has been doing some testing on this. Jordan, I'm going to unshare my screen here for a second. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just maybe showing, one of the interactions like you were sharing with me recently that you did, where you created a kind of a workflow or an automation.
Sure. Yep. Good morning, everybody. I'll share a couple things from Slant. So Slant is it's a CRM.
Yeah. Sorry, the name of the CRM is Slant. Sorry, I never forgot to say that.
Yeah. So new CRM system. I think the big benefit of this system over a Salesforce is that basically all your data is just captured and contained right here in Salesforce. So instead of having to use like Precise and Zox or other services to get data into Salesforce, CRM has a note taker, it has data gathering, so you can really do everything here. And like right now we use Zox, and after every meeting I have to push all the data, the tasks from Zox to Salesforce. Here in Slant, I don't have to do any of that. It's just automated. And then there are a couple things. I know some of you, Tabitha in particular, are advanced Salesforce users, and you have great workflows built into there. But I wanted to show you a couple sequences that I created with CRM's chat function. So if you remember back at the FA Summit, Brian Gallery from First Trust did a presentation on COIs. I created this. I just typed in using natural language, like I want an outreach campaign for COIs that's focused on estate attorneys, divorce attorneys, and accountants. And the goal of the campaign is to get a meeting with this person, maybe a 15-minute call or in-person meeting. And then I want to use email, text, and LinkedIn. So then Slant, that I just typed that in, and then Slant created this sequence that you can see here on my screen. So day 1, it sends an email. Day 4 sends a LinkedIn connection. Day 7 is a text. Day 10 is an automated email. Then LinkedIn. So there's a lot of follow-up, and this took me, 30 seconds maybe to create. So there's just a lot of neat things you can do there. And then I've also automated my review meeting schedule. So um, what Slant will do is it will look at each client that's coming up for a review meeting. So anybody that's due for a review meeting within 2 weeks, if they have not already scheduled with me, so Slant will look at my calendar, look for that person's name and review in the meeting title. So if they haven't scheduled and they're due within 2 weeks, they're going to automatically get an email with a link to my Calendly to schedule. And then if they do schedule, they're not going to get any follow-ups because Slant will see that they've already done that, right? You don't want to have somebody getting follow-ups from you when they've already scheduled. So that's kind of a 5-minute summary, Brian, of Slant, but I think it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and again, like I wanted to introduce this to you today, and I don't want you to think like, all right, we're all going to be using Slant tomorrow, and Salesforce is going away. Salesforce is going to be around at least at minimum another year. We're not getting rid of it. And actually, the reality is Slant can't do everything that we need it to do right now. The good news is we've got an in with their developers there. They're working with us to develop some things that we would need as a firm to make sure that we're able to do all the things that we're doing, that all of you all are doing, to do that. But I had asked Jordan to share that because I wanted, like, this is the future of where we're going. This is the future of where we're headed, and we are doing our best to try to stay on the front lines of that. Any questions so far as we're talking through some of these things? I'd love to keep this conversational. So if you've got a question or anything we talk about, just pipe up, please. All right. Let me get back to the presentation here. All right. So we talked a little bit about client communication, talked a little bit about that. So meeting prep. Again, I just spent the last week down at Black Diamond, and they're rolling out in our current Black Diamond login that we use. They have developed an AI language in there called Carbon that I think they said probably early summer, probably by June, maybe July at the latest. They feel like they'll have the first version in there so that, again, when you log into Black Diamond and you're like, okay, where do I go get that report? Where do I go find this? I got to get that, do this, do this, do that. You're not having to do all of that. You just go in and you're just saying, hey, pull up the portfolio for the blank, blank, blanks or whatever. You know what I mean? You can just go in and start interacting with it just like you're having a conversation, and it's getting you what you need. What's really cool too is like on the data mining or business intelligence piece, if you're trying to find some data around maybe some numbers or things around your firm, you don't have to sit there and you can just build me a report that shows this, 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 and that, and then it can go ahead and pull that for you. So there's some really cool things that they're rolling out there. I want to show this to you as well, because this is also where I think we're going to. This is a web page that was created in Claude. All right. And if I showed you the prompt, you would fall out of your chair just how short it is. But I believe, like, imagine you're bringing a client in, right? And instead of just some PowerPoint you're showing them, you've actually got a web page, right? So these aren't real people. This is no real stuff here. But well, Sarah and David Harrington, here's your firm name. Claude would have your logo, and you could have a web page for them that you would send them, or maybe they're not even coming in. Maybe you're just doing a proposal, and you could just send them a link here. Click this secure link. Maybe it's got a login or something, and here's some stuff in there, from the plan that you're doing for them, right? So instead of a Right Capital output or something like that, they've got their own web page, out here that kind of gives these very specific things, for a proposal. I'm really excited about the proposal side of this because I do think that, instead of sending someone a PDF or sending someone something, being able to just send a link to something interactive like this that would be really easy to create. I think this is pretty powerful. I know one of the things that I've been doing on some clients recently or on some prospects is I'll take wherever their current statements are. Now I have to print them up. I have to take a black marker and cross off all the identifying information, and then I just feed it into Claude. I've literally said, look at all the positions in the account and let me know what their true cost is, right? Let me know like what the underlying costs for those mutual funds are, and this, and that. So I don't have to sit there and type them all into Morningstar or type them all into Nitrogen or something like that. And it goes and it tells me exactly what each one is, and saves me a ton of time that way. So
Brian,
yep, go ahead. Someone's
excuse me,
got
I
a
got a
question.
question. So I've been very reluctant to upload any statements or data into any of the AI, like Claude or Chat GPT for, data security purposes. Is there a format or a way that we can do that to have it run the
Well,
analysis like you're
so
mentioning? Or
so what I've been doing is I print out on a statement. I usually print the first page out that has all the balances, and then I print just the position pages out. I don't print the transactions and all the other stuff out. And then I sit there with a marker and I just mark off their name. I mark through any account numbers or things like that, and then I scan that back in. However, so one of the things that we've done here at FA, and I'm going to open this up to you all if you want to be a part of it, is so in the in these LLMs, you can do individual subscriptions, or you can do a team or enterprise subscription. The team and enterprise subscriptions with these LLMs are secured. And I've done some research on this already. I've gotten some verification. I'm still doing a little bit more to just make sure that it is in fact secure. They don't train on it. They don't learn on it. Whatever you interact with it, it stays within your instance. It stays within your group that you're using. We, as a firm, have not uploaded anything sensitive yet, because I do want to make sure that we are guaranteed that that is the case. There are some minimums in order to do a team account, but I think we've got 11 or 12 people here on an account on a team here, and we're actually able to, I can add other URLs to it. So like, even though your email address might be different, and you can be a part of our team here, and that way it stays within the Fiduciary Alliance umbrella and should be secure. Your chats are private. Like, it's not, I don't get to see your chats. I don't, unless you can share a chat with somebody. We can create projects. Actually, I'll kind of just show you here a little bit what it looks like. It's actually it's actually like, it comes as its own app, and there's projects in here that you can have. Like, you can have your projects, you can share it with the entire team, which would be everybody. You can just share it with individual people, so you can collaborate on projects. You've got all your chats, you've got your co-work here. I mean, this is something we've barely even scratched the surface on yet, because with co-work, what you can do, and by the way, when you do a Teams account, you can actually integrate it with Ignite. You can integrate it with folders on your computer, so that as you're interacting with this, it can actually go grab certain files or whatever that you need that you have on there. You don't necessarily have to just keep uploading individual things every time. You can keep a whole file somewhere and then connect to it. So yeah, this is where we're going. And I'm going to be honest with you, and a lot of the conversations that I had, it wasn't just a bunch of Black Diamond people last week, but there were a lot of people in the industry, and the consensus was that we're really going to be interacting with this going forward. That even though, like, you're going to have, Black Diamond's going to have its own little AI thing, or this piece of software is going to have their AI thing, and they're going to have their AI thing. You're not going to be interacting with all these things. You're going to act with one thing in the middle, one LLM, if we'll just call it that. And then it's going to go out to all these other, it's going to have access to all these other things and can just create everything that you need in the middle. Now, the security isn't there for that, right? I mean, there's so many things that just aren't built out or there for that in terms of our industry, but I really believe that's where we're going. And I think this is a good way to get started. It's a good way to start practicing and learning how to do your workflows like this, because I think that's where we're all going to be here at some point. You're going to have an AI agent assistant that you just interact with that's going to have access to the world, and everything's going to connect to each other there. Any questions about that? Oh, let me say one more thing about this Claude thing. If you want to participate in or be a part of this, the good news is it's the same cost as a personal one, right now. It's basically $20 a month. We pay annually. It's like $240 a year. You let me know. I can get you added. And then we're also going to probably start doing some monthly Claude, specifically on Claude Cowork and Chat and Teams and this and stuff here, some user groups of sharing best practices. How have you found this helpful? And so that we're all learning how to do this together. We've planted our flag on Claude. That's the one that we, when I say we, meaning the internal FA team here, the one that we tend to use the most. And when we started this initially, everyone kind of had a bunch of individual accounts. We had some people using ChatGPT, some people using Claude, some people using some other stuff. But as we just kind of were practicing and doing some things together, we just realized this is really probably one of the best experiences. Everybody agreed. So we've kind of planted our flag here. If you read a lot of news, I would say that I think Claude's doing some of the best work out there right now from stuff that we're seeing. So, all right.
So what do we do?
Just message me individually. Message me individually, and then I'll get you added, okay? So shoot me a message. You don't need to do it on the full FA chat. Just send me individually, all right? All right, so content and education. We talked a little bit about this last week with Notebook LM, data and reporting, workflow automation. Again, you just saw some things that Jordan did there that automated some things. But again, just kind of closing this conversation up, I just want to say that we are going to take a very measured approach. We're not going to put client data at risk. I mean, this first and foremost. We're only going to work with tools that are proven, secure. I really think it is important for us to, and that's the benefit of being part of this group, that we can partner and learn together, right? You only know what you know, and we get so busy and we kind of get moving forward, and we can get some blinders on sometimes. And that's why we are creating this user group, so that we can, share with each other best practices and things like that. So again, we're committed to your growth. It's always our #1 priority in all these things that we do. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen here.